All right, guys. We are live on the other side with the doors.
To the other side, we're gonna do the other side, yeah. We chased our pleasures here, dug our treasures there. Can you still recall the time we cried? Bring on through to the other side. Bring on through to the other side.
Break on through to the other side, guys. Oh, it's probably blowing up my phone. I know it's not so bad. There we go. Make it a little bit lower. What's going on? We got a great show for you guys today. We have the press secretary coming out. Fucking Donald continuing to live rent-free in these people's minds. And he keeps winning. We're going to show you how he just keeps dominating his opponent. We've got Vladimir Putin. Yeah, it's causing trouble, more trouble in the world. Is it France causing the trouble, or is it Vladimir Putin? And Israel keeps fucking up. Or not, I don't know. It depends on how you look at things. There's only one way that this thing's going to end, and that's with where's... I hope SD shows up. I'm thinking about taking him up on his Bitcoin bet. For, no nuclear war. Yeah, it's very likely we're about to see nuclear war. We're going to take a look at that. Oh, wow, I stopped the music. Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's me, Space McG, your favorite cartoon nerd with the news, and I'm back at it again, doing what I do, you know, what we do, how we do these things when we do them. And, yeah, it's a beautiful bipolar day here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have a lot of bipolar, so we have storms on and off. It's like either bright and sunny or it's fucking pouring rain. It's interesting. The weather here is interesting. Let's see, we got a great little crowd starting to form out here. Who do we got? We've got Usi Kiwi. What's going on, bruh? All the way from Finland, showing his love for the Space McG. We got, the Mastermind. He's masterminding this shit up, bruh. What's going on? I didn't get notified, or is it only when you come live? You should get notifications. Let's see. No, I posted this hours ago. You should have been notified a half hour, and then you should get one right when I go live. Mojo, baby. We got Freddie Sodium. It's all Trump's fault. Indeed, Mr. Sodium. Oh, no. That was the other long-haired hippie. Jimmy or whatever his name is. England weather sucks. Oh, yeah. I can only imagine, brother. Yeah, they got a clothing line called London Fog. So, yeah, I imagine it's terrible there. Now, yeah, speaking of terrible, the press secretary is going to be coming out sometime. You know, it's racist to be on time, so and she's not Whoa, where did Space go? Oh, no. Hold on. She's not a good black person, guys. They'll take her black card away. Oh, what the hell is happening? Quit doing that. You stop it. Why is it doing that? Hold on. Hold on, guys. Something's not right. Sorry, I'm arguing with the computer. Now can I do it? Alright, there we go. For some reason, every time I opened up the video window, it would shrink SpaysE's window, and then I would lose my animations. You don't want that. You don't want me to lose my animations, okay? Oh, New England weather sucks. New England, my bad. Okay. Alright, yeah, so, of course it's racist to be on time, and they will take away your black card. Hey, what's up, Shemp? Yeah, they'll take away your black card if you don't show up late. What the fuck is going on? EMP reverted the PC. Now identifies as a nuclear brick phone. Oh, that would be fucking terrible. Please no, God. I would rather have a Commodore 64. I'm just saying. Alright, now, at least it has a fucking usable keyboard. Yeah, I would rather have a Commodore 64 than my fucking keyboard. I'll tell you that. My keyboard fucking sucks. It's literally the worst keyboard I've ever had in my life. It's like a ZX fucking Spectrum. Alright, let's see here. Now, so Israel is fucking shit up. And you know, this is going to play out in one way, right? I have to say it. Someone's getting nuked here, right? Iran is building their nuclear bomb, right? And their primary mission as Iranians is death to Israel. I'm not saying all Iranians. I'm saying the nation-state government, the religious fucking dictatorship, right, that runs the Shia Muslim population, right, is going to nuke Israel, right? That's their goal, right? Like the jihadi Shia fucking Islam fucking caliphate worldwide intifada motherfuckers, they're going to nuke Israel, right? Unless Israel nukes them first. We're in dangerous times, okay? Like, this is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Israeli airstrike demolishes the... we're back. Are we back? I think we're back. This is not a recent thing. This has been on the table ever since. This is all our fault. Not all of it, but goddamn, a lot of it is the United. This is all George Bush's fault, guys. This is George Bush's fault. All of this is George Bush's, right? Right? Both of them, right? Both of them. Now, because, why is this George Bush's fault? Because George Bush fucked up Iran, right? That was all George Bush. Right? George Bush, who is directly, like, the fucking henchman of Allen Dulles, who, you know, ran the CIA, right? And then, when he left, guess who ran the CIA after him? George Bush, right? So, yes, this is all George Bush's fault. He did all this mess, with these Iranians. They were our close ally, right? And like Iran at one time was like mostly westernized, right? At one time, Iran looked, as westernized as India, at least, right? Right? Now, since the war in Gaza began nearly 6 months ago, clashes have also increased between Israel and Hezbollah, another militant group supported by Iran, right? Along Israel's northern border with Lebanon. And those are, right, right, their military is basically Iranian trained, Iranian supplied, right? Because the Lebanon and Iran are the Shias, right? Egypt is also Shia, right? And they all work together because it's like, so, right? It's like the Muslims against the rest of the world, right? Because their primary goal is a worldwide caliphate, right? Which is like literally some fucking Jawa out in the middle of fucking Mecca, right? Will like tell you how to live your life and what you have to do, right? They all live under the what is it, Sharia law, right? Jihadi law, like fucking women in beekeeper suits, right? And that's what they want for you worldwide. They want it everywhere, right? And yes, so that's how that works. So Hezbollah is supplied by Iran along Israel's northern border with Lebanon, right? Israel, which rarely acknowledges such strikes, said it had no comment on the latest attack in Syria. Although a military spokesman blamed Iran for a drone attack earlier Monday against a naval base in southern Israel, right? So, Iran and Israel are trading missiles and blowing up each other's buildings right now, right? Okay? Right? Not we, but I mean, you might as well say us. We took out. So, what's shaping up here to be is either an indirect proxy war or a direct proxy war between Israel and Iran, supplied by us, or like, I don't know, fucking some kind of new terrorist group pops up and it's between Israel and them, right? So what it seems to be right now is, okay, so Israel is pounding the shit out of Gaza in order to inflame the Arab world, right, through Iran, right, so that we can have a proxy war between us and Iran through Israel, right? That's what it looks like. If I had to call, like, what is history going to say happened here, that's what history is going to teach the future about how this all went down today, right? But okay, so that's what's happening now, right? So hold that that whole worldview in your mind for a little bit as we talk about this, okay? So frame this in your mind, just humor me, right, for a minute, like that. Like, okay, what we're seeing here is Gaza being exploited in order to enrage the Muslim world in such a way that they attack Israel so that we can have an all-out war again. Fucking Iraq 2.0. And we'll probably bomb Iraq many, 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 many times in order to make this happen. Now, the airstrike in Syria killed General Ali Reza Zadi, who, well, that's a cool name, Reza. I like that name, I'm sorry. All right. Like it sounds like razor, but he's razor. He's raising it up. I'm the razor. I'm just saying. Sounds cool. I wish my name was Razor. All right, now, who led the elite Cuds? I don't want to be in the Cuds, though. How would you like to be a Cud? How would you like? Yeah, hey, bro, what do you do? I'm a Cud. All right, the elite Cuds in Lebanon and Syria until 2016. According to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard, it also killed Zahadi's deputy general Mohammed Hadi Hajrahaimi and 5 other officers. A member of Hezbollah, Hussein Youssef, also was killed in the attack. A spokesperson for the militant group told the Associated Press. The spokesperson spoke on a condition of anonymity in line with the group's rules. So, we have unnamed sources. It's all... God damn it. It always comes down to unnamed sources, doesn't it, guys? Right? Yeah. If you're not willing to speak with your reputation on the line, you shouldn't be given a platform. I'm just saying. You shouldn't be allowed to talk about things if you're not going to put your name on the line, right? Your reputation and all that. You know what I mean? Hey, we got Andrew up in here. Can do Andrew. What's going on, brother? All right, let's check in on the press secretary real quick. Because this is normally about the time that she likes to show up. So, okay. All right. Yeah, so what I want you to take away from this is that Israel hit the Iran consulate in Syria, and now this happens, okay? And then this is what happens next. U.S. troops warned to brace for retaliation from Iran after strike kills top commanders. U.S. troops serving in the Middle East may be under a renewed threat of attacks by Iran and its proxies following an airstrike on Iran's consulate in Syria on Monday. Lieutenant General Alexis Grinkowick, a top commander with the U.S. Air Force, said the strike, believed to be carried out by Israel, may be a catalyst for renewed attacks on the U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria. The U.S. suffered over 150 such attacks in the months following October 7th, but those attacks slowed after 3 American troops were killed in January. I am concerned because of the Iranian rhetoric talking about the U.S. that there could be a risk to our forces, Grinkowick said. The U.S. has insisted to Iran that it had nothing to do with Monday's strike in Syria. Nevertheless, yeah, we had nothing. Guys, we had nothing to do with it. We just gave them bombs and fucking coordinates and told them who was there. That's probably not even true, right? I mean, if I want to be serious, the IDF probably knows where every fucking Iranian fucking military person is right now at this very second. Right? Or at least the top ones, right? I mean, the IDF doesn't fuck around. They tell us what targets to hit, right? Where the targets are. So, like, Israel has not confirmed its own involvement in the attack. So, basically what we said... So, we're pointing our finger at Israel, and they haven't even owned up to it yet? That's kind of like some snitch shit, right? So, not only are we warmongering... fucking weapons dealers, right? Igniting proxy wars around the globe in order to boost our defense production, right? But we are also snitching on our friends and blaming them, like be like, nah, it wasn't us, it was Israel. Well, shh, don't tell them. Stop snitching, America. You can't be all this involved and just be like snitching on everyone. That's some bitch snitch shit. I bet you Donald Trump wouldn't snitch like that. I bet you he wouldn't. I'm just saying. Shit, Trump would probably take responsibility for it if no one else did. That's the kind of guy Donald Trump is. He would just exploit it and be like, oh, I did it, even if he didn't. All right, now. He continued. The attack on an official Iranian government target in Damascus, Israel, escalated against Iran, telling Iran that Israel will not continue with the proxy game so commonly played by Iran. The Israeli escalation was to serve as a warning. We are ready for battle with you, Iran, directly at this time, even though we are at war in both Gaza and Lebanon. So basically, Israel. So what happened? Iran allegedly strikes Israel from Lebanon, and Israel responds by exploding their consulate building in Damascus. Right? Is that right? Is that what happened? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happens. So, yeah. And now Iran is threatening to bomb Americans. So, and then in response, America will bomb Iraqis. You see how that works? So, Lebanon bombs Israel. Israel strikes Iran. Iran kills Americans. Then Americans kill Iraqis. That's how it works now. Okay? You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Oh, Russians are in Syria, says Uzi. Yeah, so that's how the game is being played now, guys. Yeah, so all right. Let's just kind of peep in on the press secretary, just make sure everything's still waiting for her. If I can find my damn mouse. There it is. Get over there. Nope. She's still not here. Now, so if you're more than 15 minutes late, are you late finally in black time, or can you never be late in black time? I don't know. I don't know how the rules work. All I've ever heard is that if I expect you to be on time, then I'm a racist. So, like, what I know that I have heard people say that black people run at least 15 minutes late. And that I needed to accept that, or I'm a racist, right? So, fuck Brittany Griner. Apparently, there's a white girl out there that can play college basketball really well. Remember her name because I don't give a shit, but that's what I heard. I heard there's some white girl at some college that is like the biggest thing in sports right now. I don't know who she is, but that's what I heard. All right, so now speaking of Russia, Uzi, in a rare call, Russian defense minister warns his French against sending troops to Ukraine. So we've kind of been following this story, maybe not giving it as much attention as it deserves. But yes, France is preparing, or at least posturing, as if they are going to invade Ukraine. Okay? Now, or not invade, whatever you want to call it. Defend Ukraine by invading it. Russia's defense minister warned his French counterpart against deploying troops to Ukraine in a rare phone call Wednesday, and noted that Moscow is ready to take part in talks to end the conflict. Yeah, well, of course, Moscow has always been willing to come to the table and negotiate. It's Zelensky who's not. Now, Sergei Shoigu told French Defense Minister Sebastian Lecornu, "Hey, their names are complimentary, or not complimentary, but whatever, reflective. I wouldn't say they rhyme, but they're very close. That if Paris follows up on its statements about the possibility of sending a French military contingent to Ukraine, it will create problems for France itself." According to a statement from the Russian Defense Ministry, it didn't elaborate. So they're not saying like what they are willing to do. The conversation followed French President Emmanuel Macron. Emmanuel Macron. I'm sorry. Emmanuel Macron's comments in February, in which he said that the possibility of Western troops being sent to Ukraine could not be ruled out. The call marked the first such contact between Russians and French defense ministers since October 2022. Shoigu noted Moscow's readiness for dialogue on Ukraine, emphasizing that a planned round of peace talks in Geneva would be senseless without Russia's involvement. He added that possible future negotiations could be based off of a draft document. Blah, 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 blah. Right? But the important thing to take away here, right, is that worldwide, things are going in the wrong direction, right? Instead of ending the war in Ukraine, we're escalating it, right? Instead of containing the Middle East conflict to within the borders of Israel, we're expanding it, right? Instead of deterring Iran, we are emboldening Iran, right? And we see them supplying the Houthis. We see them supplying Hezbollah, right? We see them ramping up their operations, right? Like they're bombing American bases in the Middle East, right? Like things are clearly ramping up, right? Ramping up. We see this in the Pacific Ocean, right? Where China is on the march. Maybe not literally yet, but they are pushing their boundaries as far as they can, pushing up against their neighbors, right? Macron needs to direct focus from the rioting farmers and rising food prices with war. Yeah, well, you know better about European politics than I do. I don't really follow what's going on in Europe aside from topically. Like, I only have a topical understanding of what's happening there. I only touch on things when they make, when they trend in the United States, I guess. Yes, yeah, but here's the thing. There's a line. Like, once we cross that line, there is no going back. There is no ratcheting down, right? Like, how you can only you can't ratchet it down once it's boiling, right? Right? Like once it boils over, it's over, right? We're done. So, yes. So, I feel like maybe that's actually a good point, Usi, because I kind of have been kicking that concept around in my head. Like, maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe that's exactly what is going on here. Is Democrats see their power slipping away rapidly, and we're going to look at that here, polls. Actually, the polls have been trending in Biden's direction over the short period. Over like the last 3 weeks, Trump's overall advantage has been slipping away. So, but it's probably due to changes in the polls, right? I don't know. There are ways to do polls to get the results different than what may occur naturally, right? You can weight the polls in such a way that you get the results, not the best results that you could possibly want, but you can tilt them slightly in a direction, right? Now, so we kind of were talking about this like a week ago about like F-16s, F-15s, F-18s, all those things, right? Well, we gave apparently F-16s to Ukraine. Russians adapting air defenses means Ukraine's new F-16s are an example of weapons that are no longer relevant. Senior Ukrainian officer, right? An unnamed Ukraine. Of course, it's always guys. It's always who can you trust more than an unnamed source, right? Those are the best sources. Those are the only ones you can trust. An unnamed Ukrainian officer told Politico of his doubts about the usefulness of incoming F-16s. He said that Russia has already been preparing the battlefield for NATO aircraft by range finding. It's an example of how Ukraine often receives weapon systems too late, he told Politico. Yeah. Well, and they also get shitty ones, right? Like, we're giving them the equivalent of the outdated Russian weapons that are being used against us, right? Right? Like, Russia's using Cold War shit still. Not everything they're using, but some of the things they're using. Russia's doing exactly what... That looks better. Oh, hey, I think we're back. Or not. I don't know. Yes. We are back. My computer crashed. It just crashed. It's held together with spit and duct tape, guys. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Yeah, we were reading about how we're giving Ukraine shitty weapons, and now space is broken. Hold on. God damn it. God fucking damn it. Everything happens, I'll tell you. It's always something. But it's never nothing, guys. It's never nothing. But it is something. And that's something, it always is, right? But never is it nothing. All right. I'm serious. You don't believe me? Try it. Try it sometime, and you'll see. It'll be something, but it won't be nothing. You'll see. And if you're not ready for something, you ain't ready for nothing. I'll tell you that. All right, now, let's check on the secretary. Oh, gotta get her screen back up. Nope, she's late. She's late as a motherfucker. She's 40 minutes late now. I had a feeling that she would be. That's kind of why I've been taking my time more on these stories, because I knew that she would be kind of late. All right. So, speaking of Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump on Tuesday issued a demonstrative call for head-to-head debates with President Joe Biden, placing an empty lectern on the stage before a rally here to represent where Biden could stand. This is for Joe Biden. This is for Joe Biden. I'm trying to get him to debate, Trump said, referring to the empty podium. Trying to get Crooked Joe to debate anytime, anywhere. It's sick. It's sad. It really is. A staple of down-ballot candidates seeking to force reluctant rivals to debate the visual aid emphasized Trump's charge that Biden is afraid to meet him one-on-one. But it also hinted at the very real possibility that a presidential election could come to pass without at least... Oh, there she is. Without at least one televised debate for the first time in generations, right? So they're already floating the fucking premise that there's not going to be a debate. And why isn't there going to be a debate, guys? It's because Joe Biden would simply lose, right? There's no benefit to be had for Joe Biden debating. A, he can't defend his policies. He can't defend his record, right? B, he's not as charming, right? No one can win in a debate against Trump unless they bring in moderators that debate Trump for Joe, like they did last time, right? And C, the man is a fucking smoking pile of dementia, right? You put that on stage, even next to, let's say Trump has a stroke between now and then, right? Trump with a stroke is still a better fucking candidate than Joe Biden, the way he is now.
Just a couple things at the top, and then
Do you
we'll
never?
get going.
Oh my God, is she wearing the exact same fucking dress? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
So tomorrow, as you all know, the president is going to be traveling to Baltimore, where he will receive an operational update on response.
He should receive an operational update on his fucking brain surgery is what he needs an operation on his brain again because the last guy fucked it up.
Efforts from the unified command leaders from.
And it's, well, what happened? That's true, guys. Joe Biden has had 2 brain surgeries. 2. Count them, 2.
Income and disadvantage.
And he needs a third.
This makes the greenhouse gas reduction fund the
Hold on, let's rewind what she's saying about.
That will keep lower energy. $20 billion as part of this administration. This administration will be with the people of Baltimore every step of the way. SBA Administrator Guzman is administration's efforts to support small businesses in need. I also want to share a very big announcement that the Vice President and the EPA Administrator Regan made today in Charlotte, North Carolina.
So they're cleaning up the bridge by giving money away to black-owned businesses. That's what's happening, right? I guarantee you that they're prioritizing black people to get free money now that the bridge is shut down, because any excuse to buy votes, right, is what you're going to get. Hey, what's up, Captain Crappy? Yeah, so they're giving away money to black-owned businesses in Baltimore, and that's how they're going to clean up the bridge. Right? But the bridge is still there, right? They haven't got rid of but a couple tiny little pieces so far, right? Like tiny pieces, right? The bridge is still there. The boat is still there. It's been, 10, 11 days, right? But don't worry. They got it all handled, guys. They're going to give money away to small businesses, black-owned small businesses. That'll get the bridge fixed. $20 billion in awards to expand access to clean energy, tackle the climate crisis, improve air quality. And they're gonna give $20 billion to China for solar panels, right? That's gonna clean up the bridge, right? Good job, guys. You guys got it all figured out.
Energy costs and create good paying jobs. This investment through the EPA's Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund will stand up a national network that will finance tens of thousands of climate and clean energy projects across America. At least
Yeah. Oh, building Chinese fucking solar farms with Chinese solar panels.
70% of these funds will be invested in low-income and
They flooded the market so hard with solar panels that in England, I don't know, I've not seen this personally, but I read an article about it. They are using solar panels as fences, right? The solar panels are cheaper than the wood.
disadvantaged communities. This makes the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund the single largest non-tax investment in the Inflation Reduction Act to build a clean energy economy.
Inflation Reduction Act by buying Chinese solar panels. Got it.
While benefiting communities that have historically been left behind. And
giving free solar panels to black people, guys. That's how you're gonna fucking reduce inflation, right? By creating more demand, free money, right?
Finally,
and solar panels.
Briefly preview the president's schedule next week. On Monday, he will travel to Madison, Wisconsin, and discuss.
And it probably won't even be anything like that, right? That money will probably go to teach black transgendered fucking basket weavers how to fucking weave baskets on fucking local resources, right? By using local fucking prairie flowers or whatever.
That's how he is lowering costs for Americans. Later,
we solve climate. It probably won't go to anything as useful as fucking solar panels.
United States. This will include a state dinner on Wednesday, April 10th. The visit will underscore the enduring strength of our alliance, the unwavering U.S. commitment to Japan, and Japan's increasing global leadership role. On
we
Thursday,
basically own Japan,
April 11th,
guys. Did you
President
know that?
Biden will host Prime Minister Marcos of the Philippines. Prime
That's
Minister
why it should be a
Kishida of
state.
Japan at the White House for the first trilateral U.S. Japan Philippines Leaders Summit. In addition, President Biden will host President Marcos for a meeting at the White
And
House.
all the
April
Japanese
11th
girls should
to
come
review the
here
historic
to
momentum
Cincinnati.
in U.S.-Philippines relations. Thank you for your patience. With that, the Admiral is here to talk about the President's call with Prime Minister Netanyahu and any updates.
When is the Admiral going to talk about bringing Japanese girls to Cincinnati? That's what I care about.
Obviously a busy day here. I do want to take a moment just at the start to recognize the 75th anniversary of the NATO alliance, greatest military alliance in the history of the world. And you all saw the statement from the President earlier today celebrating this historic milestone. Now, for 75 years, the NATO alliance has stood together for freedom and against aggression, provided an unrivaled bulwark of security that has helped protect the American people. And during that time, our NATO...
Yeah, help protect us, guys, by starting World War III. NATO was actually good. Pressure from NATO is one of the things that led the Soviet Union to mushroom on itself, right? To kind of throw up... Actually, what happened in the Soviet Union is kind of happening here.
Well,
Passport, bro. No, I don't want to go to Japan. I want them to come here.
Today, NATO is larger, stronger.
That sounds easier
than ever before, thanks in no small part to the president.
I mean, I want to go to Japan.
We look forward to building on all that progress.
Partly for the women, but also for
here in Washington D.C.
I just love their culture.
Now, as I'm sure you're all aware,
ninjas and shit, and
had a chance to
samurai,
speak
and
with Prime
fucking
Minister Netanyahu
dragons,
earlier,
and fucking
today.
Taoism.
On that phone call, the president emphasized that the strikes on humanitarian workers and the overall humanitarian situation in Gaza are unacceptable. He made clear the need for Israel to announce
and
implement a series of specific, concrete, and measurable steps to address civilian harm, humanitarian suffering, and the safety of aid workers. He made clear that U.S. policy with respect to Gaza will be determined by our assessment of Israel's immediate action on these steps. He underscored that an immediate ceasefire is essential to stabilize and improve the humanitarian situation and to protect innocent civilians. And he urged the Prime Minister to empower his negotiators to conclude a deal without delay to bring the hostages home.
Yeah. The hostages, the fucking teeth. That's all we got left, guys. Hey, we got their teeth home, though, you know.
Two leaders also discussed public
We should end the war now. We got all their dead bodies back.
threats against Israel and the Israeli people. President Biden made clear that the United States strongly supports Israel in the face of those threats. That's all I have.
Right? Isn't that America's policy? You kill us, and then we'll end war. You kill some innocent fucking civilians, and then we'll end our war with you. That's how it works.
On that last piece there, you said you have said it from this podium several times that the Hamas was the obstacle to getting some sort of ceasefire deal.
Oh, this guy is the straight guy for the old voters. That's a good observation.
Willingness to reach a
No,
ceasefire.
he's the white guy that they need to answer the hard questions for the black girl. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's objectively true, right? Right? He's here to actually answer questions, and they are going to be hard. The girl can't answer the questions like he can, right? All she can say is, I'm not going to speak on that. I haven't seen that, so I'm not going to comment. The Hatch Act, fucking, and then she feigns outrage otherwise, right? If you ask her a hard question, she gets really fucking mean, right?
Deal changed in the last several weeks.
No, look, it takes active participation and the negotiation of both sides here, and that's what the president is urging. He's certainly in the call with Netanyahu, urging that the prime minister empower his team to the maximum extent possible to see if we can get this deal in place. And
then just on the substance, the real news from the president's statement there, saying that he's going to condition future U.S. support for this for the Israeli operations in Gaza on what Israel does. First off, what is at stake? What would be potentially cut off from Israel for use in this war if it doesn't change course? And second, what do you want specifically to see from?
Okay, again, they're asking the question. What will America do if Israel doesn't comply with your wishes to kill the Palestinians more equitably or whatever, however they're trying to frame it, kill less of them, or I guess fucking, I don't know.
What to do to protect civilians?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Could you do war less effectively, please? Oh, you guys are too good at doing war. Will you guys chill out a little bit and not be as good at it?
I'm not going to preview any potential policy decisions coming forward. What we want to see are some real changes on the Israeli side, if we don't see changes from their side, there'll have to be changes from our side. But I won't preview what that could look like. Now, they talked about I'm sorry.
Is that just the body count, or is there a specific change?
Again, in terms of concrete steps, what we are looking to see and hope to see here in coming hours and days is a dramatic increase in the humanitarian assistance getting in, additional crossings opened up, and a reduction in the violence against civilians and certainly aid workers. We want to see that even as the Israelis work through their investigation, that
they must be overly supplied on MREs or something. They must have a fucking giant batch about to expire or something.
Are willing and able to take practical, immediate steps to protect aid workers on the ground and to demonstrate that they have that civilian harm mitigation in place. So again, those are broad brushes. I'll let the Israelis speak to what they will or won't do here. But again, in coming hours and days, we will be looking for concrete, tangible steps that they're taking.
I got to say it again. This motherfucker knows how to pick out a suit. God damn, that's a nice suit.
John, just to go back to that point.
God damn, that's a nice suit.
When you say the president made clear that U.S. policy with respect to Gaza will be determined by our assessment of Israel's immediate action, could you decode that for us? What exactly is the warning that's being issued here?
I think it's very clear in the language itself, Nancy. We're looking for concrete steps to alleviate humanitarian suffering in Gaza. Again, I won't get ahead of what the Israelis will or won't say or announce. We're looking for concrete steps to be announced here soon. And it's not just about the announcement of concrete steps and changes in their policies, but it's the execution of those announcements and those decisions and implementing them. And so we obviously will watch closely and monitor how they do on the commitments that they make. And as I said earlier, if there's no changes to their policy and their approaches, then there's going to have to be changes to ours.
I think
Notice how he didn't directly say that there's going to be consequences. There'll be changes in our approach, right? But that could be, we give more aid to Gaza, right? We fucking fund Iran. I don't know. Nothing makes sense. I wouldn't put it past these people to do any of those things, right? Like, hey, we'll just give fucking, if you guys don't quit killing the Palestinians, we're going to give them fucking rocket launchers. How you like that?
I think what the world wants to understand is the White House
And keep giving you
warning
bombs.
that it may remove military aid? What exactly is the threat here?
He just told you, bitch. He's not going to tell you what the threat is. The threat is that there will be a threat.
I think I've stated it pretty clearly, and I'm not gonna, as I said earlier, I'm not gonna preview steps. I'm not gonna preview decisions.
The threat is that we are willing to make a threat at the next
There
instance.
are things that need to be done. There are too many.
When you escalate, we will escalate. If you kill, don't stop killing all the fucking damn jihadis. We need them. We're gonna need them jihadis to go fight against Iran.
The risk to aid workers is unacceptable. Now we have certain aid organizations that are reconsidering whether they're even going to be able to continue operations in Gaza while famine looms. So there has to be tangible steps. Let's see what they announce. Let's see what they direct. Let's see what they do. But I'm not going to get ahead of that.
I'm going to try this one more time because the
I
president.
reckon you would.
Why are you wasting our time?
Skip. To the prime minister.
Doesn't make
Skip.
for the phone call. Why
Why this,
hours and days?
John? Why today?
Why today? What? Why today for the phone call? Why?
Why this apparent shift in policy today?
I think. Look, President. Well, all of us, but particularly the president, was.
It's because Joe Biden urged the president to change his stance on Israel in order to ease the suffering of the Gazans. That was one of the headlines I read today. I didn't read the article. I just read that as a headline.
Was certainly shaken by the attack on the WCK convoy and the aid workers. As I said earlier,
Yeah, because it reminded the president of the time when he fucking drone striked a bunch of aid workers, right? And he doesn't like to be reminded of failure. So Biden is upset about what he did when he killed that aid worker and his whole family, right? All his kids, everything. And like a dozen kids or something. 9 kids, a dozen, something like that. Joe Biden, this reminds him of his failure, and so he's going to take out his own shame on the Israeli people and punish them because they made his feelings hurt.
only event. There had been others like that, humanitarian aid.
They reminded him of what a fucking complete fuck up he is, too.
And the president felt strongly that it was time to talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu about his concerns.
Would you characterize this call as an ultimate?
Right? The president feels deeply about the innocent fucking Gazans who are, not all Gazans, guys. Only 85% of the Gazans support Hamas, guys. Only 85%. So not all Gazans, right? But, yeah, the president's gonna cry about the dead Gazans, right? But he's gonna check his watch for the funeral of the dead Americans that he killed, right? With his botched withdrawal of Afghanistan. He's not gonna fucking give a shit about them, but the poor kid, you know why? Well, maybe if the soldiers were children, little girls, then Joe Biden would cry for them. You know what I mean?
I would characterize this call as very direct, very businesslike, very professional on both sides. And the president laid out his significant concerns about the direction and where things are going. And quite frankly, laid out, as is clear in the readout, that we are willing to reconsider our own policy approaches here, dependent upon what the Israelis do or don't do.
Just tell us who all was on the call.
Well, it was a bilateral call between the two leaders, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the president. They were the only two speakers on the call.
But Vice President Harris also dialed in?
Vice
or-
President Harris did dial in, yes. Secretary of State dialed in.
Oh, God.
Yes. I don't know who was also listening in on the Israeli side, but the discussion was between the two leaders.
MJ.
Admiral, you're not specifying what concrete steps Israel must take exactly.
I gave you a broad sense of it. We want to see more crossing.
I gave you a very, very vague description.
From Jordan. We want to see tangible steps at the mitigation of civilian harm, particularly to humanitarian aid workers, but obviously all civilians. But we want to see that they have moved forward on proper steps to deconflict with aid workers as they move around. That the information flow is viable.
That's language we've heard for weeks now. You're not talking about sort of telling us how exactly you will measure those measurable steps, right?
What I said was, we're going to examine our policy approaches based on our assessment of the way the Israeli side modifies their behavior, modifies their policy and decision-making processes. And so, first of all, let's see what they say they're going to do, and then let's watch and see how they execute to what they say. And I don't want to get ahead of them on what they plan to say about the changes they're going to make. But we'll base our policy decisions based on an assessment of how they execute.
So there will be a declaration of plans of changes? Is that what I'm hearing?
Policy changes are on the table. Can you say whether the president shared that with the prime minister on this phone call?
The president made...
So what he just said is that Israel will announce changes that they're willing to make or something like that. So, I mean, it might...
ground, absent changes to the...
When I say do things right, I mean kill the right people. Eliminate the threat within Hamas or whatever, within Gaza.
Movement on...
Same difference.
A ceasefire that will allow hostages to get out and more aid to get in, absent, a calming down, that he will have to reconsider his own policy choices with respect to Gaza.
And one of the 7 aid workers was obviously a dual American citizen. Did the prime minister offer the president an apology?
I'll let the prime minister speak to his side of the conversation.
I
would note that the Israeli defense...
Okay, I just have one question. Why would the prime minister of Israel... because an American was killed. Okay, I'm just trying to keep up with what's going on. Like, why does he have to apologize? Oh, that's right, he did kill an American, which is fucked up, right? You shouldn't be killing Americans.
Forces,
but
their southern command commander has made a public apology for the...
Joe Biden, also killed aid workers.
In this readout, can you talk to us about how...
And their entire family.
...did come up and how that might have been discussed between the two...
This conversation was focused primarily on the need to get a temporary ceasefire in place, the need for there to be a pause in the fighting, so that we can get the hostages out. Humanitarian assistance.
Get the hostages
need to see
out.
That steps are being taken to learn from this strike and to make changes in the way...
It should be easy. What's left of those hostages can probably fit in one big envelope.
Civilian harm is mitigated from an operational perspective. And they did spend time, as the readout makes clear, talking about the very public threats from Iran to Israel. And the president, as I said, made very clear to the prime minister that the United States' support for Israel's ability to defend itself from a range of threats, not just Hamas, remains ironclad.
Good, Danny.
We were talking about this earlier, about Iran is going to attack Americans in the Middle East again.
And just going back to, Jeff's question.
Right, remember? Lebanon attacks Israel, Israel attacks Iran, Iran attacks America, and America attacks Iraq.
Previous messaging to Prime Minister Netanyahu just doesn't seem to have gotten through.
Yes, there's been growing frustration.
Thank you so much, Karine. John, one question on Israel and another on Venezuela. We saw in the past President Biden pushing Netanyahu to protect civilians, but how much words really matter here when on actions the same day of the attack on the humanitarian wards, the U.S. was approving more bombs to Israel? We are now 6 months into the war. How much the U.S. actions are actually encouraging Israel to not do enough to protect civilians?
Yeah, look, I'm kind of glad the question came up because I would...
So what the question is you say you don't support the murder of Gaza, yet you give Israel bombs. And how is giving Israel bombs a demonstration of the actions that you want Israel to take, right? Like the actions being de-escalate the conflict, right? So how is giving Israel bombs de-escalating the conflict is essentially the question.
I would tell you, when I've seen press reporting, about the arms sales and that kind of thing, and I would just remind you that it, with the exception of the immediate 2 months after the attack, we haven't really sent emergency aid and military assistance to Israel. There was in the first couple of months, but what you're seeing here is the result of a process of foreign military sales to Israel that takes years. And a lot of this material that's been reported publicly was notified to Congress many, many months, if not years ago, and are in the train to get to Israel. I think it's important to remember, as I tried to mention in the last answer, that Israel still has a lot of threats it faces. I mean, we're all focused on Hamas, and I understand that, but they still face active threats throughout the region, including from Iran. And the United States still has an ironclad commitment to help Israel with its self-defense. And so a lot of these articles, including the 2,000-pound bombs and the F-35s, those are things that have been long in the train and not tied. The foreign military sales process was not tied to this.
Did he say F-35s?
Can I have one more on
They have F-35s?
Venezuela, quick, because yesterday Nicolás Maduro enacted a law creating a province of Venezuela in Guyana, and he accused the United States of building secret military bases.
And we're giving Ukraine F-18,
so, what is your reaction?
F-16?
Is the U.S. considering
that's only half the
Fs to support Guyana to defend their sovereignty?
There's no plans for a secret military base, and we've said many times that there's an 1899 arbitral ruling about the border between Guyana and Venezuela, and we want both sides to respect that ruling and to do it peacefully.
There are F-35s.
You said we would hope to see an announcement.
F-35 Lightning.
I'm wondering if that is just hope, or is it an expectation? Is it based on a commitment?
We expect that there will be some announcements coming from Israel in the coming hours and days, but I want to respect their right to manage that process on their own.
Okay, and was there any update given by the Prime Minister on what exactly happened with the World Central Kitchen envoy?
They didn't talk about the actual strike in great detail. The Prime Minister did reiterate, as his military has reiterated,
it's a stealth multi-role combat aircraft.
The investigation was concluding, that he looked forward to seeing it, and that he would take appropriate.
Well, Finland's not stupid. These look like the baddest find out 35 times.
The actual investigation results.
Try to get a technical understanding as you described the
Your
very
kids
long
will find
process
out.
of
Your grandkids
supplying
will find
arms,
out.
To Israel. If this contingency isn't met and there is a change in U.S. policy, how easy or hard would it be to slow down or change shipments to Israel based on current law and all of the requirements and all the things you just described?
Yeah, again, I don't want to get ahead of where we are.
They're made against MiGs.
what the Israeli side does and says and what they implement and where they go before we talk about actual policy decisions. And I'm certainly not going to close down decision space for the President of the United States. He gets to make those decisions. But, I mean, obviously, as Commander-in-Chief, and yes, the foreign military sales certainly is supported by legislation, but there are certain authorities that you can do to manage that. But again, let's not get ahead of where we are. This is really about seeing what the Israelis say they're going to do and then act on those changes.
Admiral, has the U.S. lost its leverage with Prime Minister Netanyahu?
You know, I keep getting this question about leverage. Israel's an ally and a friend and a partner.
And we love them. And we just want to help the poor little Jews.
The president believes strongly and has for his entire public
life. We love them. Israel's our best friend. They should be a state. Israel should be a state. We spend more money on Israel, I bet, than we do on fucking Delaware.
Security of the Israeli people and the longevity of the Israeli state. And that's not going to change.
They can't see the lightning before it hits them.
And I don't think the Prime Minister would mind me saying here that in the call today, the Prime Minister reiterated his thanks.
And they can fly in lightning, my research is showing. They've just been upgraded to be able to fly in lightning.
The 7th of October, and it is now. And that support's going to continue. But again, with respect to Gaza, we need to see certain changes. And if we don't, then we'll have to consider changes to our own policy. But it's not about leverage. It's about the relationship, and it's about the credibility. I would even say the unique credibility that this particular president has in Israel and with Israeli leadership.
Yeah, he has unique credibility for an American president. None.
Based on his long public.
Yeah, he has zero credibility. That is unique for America.
The Prime Minister is really listening.
I don't know if I would brag about that, though. I don't know if that's a bragging point. Yeah, the president has no credibility around the world.
It was. I think it was evident in the phone call today. It was a good discussion, direct.
I guess it's all about how you spin it.
Discussion. And
the president has a record level of credibility, guys. None.
And I believe the president made very clear his concerns, and the prime minister acknowledged those concerns.
In terms of the timing of this call, we understand that this call was set up after the strike on the World Central Kitchen workers. Would you say that this call was a direct result of that? Was that the reason behind the call?
Yes. I'm not going to say anything. What I will say is that we are committed to...
And then one last thing. Response to Jose Andres, Chef Andres says that the convoy was deliberately targeted. Any response from the U.S. on that?
Again, I haven't seen the Israeli investigation. They have said themselves publicly, after a preliminary investigation, that there was no deliberate targeting of WCK and
yeah, they
Chef
said
Andres.
It themselves.
They're working their way through now. Independent.
Of course, they said it themselves.
It's very, very close to complete. The prime minister just.
I bet you that investigation's about as fruitful as the fucking what was it called? The Warren Project.
About it broadly, and reiterated today. The prime minister reiterated today.
Hey, what's up, Panda baby?
Of that aid convoy.
Good night. Two questions. Senator Coons, who's very close to the president, said that we have reached a moment where arms restriction to Israel should be considered. Senator Warren also said that we have...
Senator Liz Warren!
Are they wrong in their...
Liz Warren also said Bitcoin was fucking a bad idea, was worthless, and that it was nothing but terrorism. Yeah, I would listen to Liz Warren. Liz Warren also helped Joe Biden. Well, no, she fought Joe Biden. Okay, so Liz Warren used to be okay. She fought against Joe Biden when they were writing the bankruptcy laws because she realized it was just like a giveaway to the credit card companies.
The president, I think it's clear in the readout, Nadia, that the president has made it clear today that if we don't see changes to the way the IDF is treating innocent civilians and aid workers, and
is Kirby stroking out?
he's going to have to reconsider our Gaza policy. So, I mean, he was very direct with the Prime Minister about that. I'm not going to close down his decision space. As satisfying as that may be for some of you, I can't do that. But he made it very clear that we need to see some changes on the Israeli side.
I want to ask you about very disturbing investigative report by an Israeli journalist who said that is the White House aware of an AI program called Lavender that's been used by the Israeli army to target operatives in Gaza in what they call a kill zone, where this program has only 20 seconds of human supervision, and it led to the death of thousands of women and children in Gaza.
Wasn't me, it was the robot, sir.
Trilateral Summit, then I'm going to move on to Rwanda. First of all, looking ahead to the Trilateral Summit next week, what are some of the priorities? And we recently heard the Filipino ambassador say that the U.S.
Your cousin got money from Trump? Awesome.
Patrols in the South China Sea very soon. Can you confirm that and give us any details?
I believe the Pentagon will have more to say about that this afternoon. So I don't want to get ahead of them on that. We're always looking for opportunities to improve cooperation with our allies in the Indo-Pacific. We're looking forward to this trilateral summit next week. I think it'll be very, very important.
Philippines, the United States,
self-defense treaty commitments with
I believe in Australia,
and so the chance to sit down
are doing like a joint task force as a show of force against China.
The president's very much looking forward to. There's an awful
we're going to be bringing nuclear bombers in.
Not going away. That was an issue that was raised in the president's call with President Xi just a couple of days ago, and so there's an awful lot to talk about there.
Then on Rwanda, I'm going to ask a multi-part question.
Cool. I did not think my answer was cool, but I appreciate it.
It's it's a small country, doesn't get a lot of attention, but President Biden has decided to send President Clinton to observe the 30th anniversary of the genocide. What message does this send?
We're going to go observe the anniversary of a genocide, guys. Yeah, we got to make sure it paid off for us.
When the genocide was happening. Secondly, what message is President Clinton taking to President Kagame, who's been in power since 1994 and has become increasingly authoritarian? And then finally, in 1998, President Clinton pledged the Rwandan people that his administration
he was a
going to work
douche
to identify triggers of genocidal activity so that something like this never happened again. Do you think Washington has improved on that front in the last 30 years?
I believe, I can't speak for every administration between 1998 and today, but I can tell you that President Biden absolutely takes those responsibilities very, very seriously.
He takes them seriously? No fucking way.
Around the world. And he's very grateful that President Clinton has agreed to lead the delegation for the 30th anniversary. 800,000 people slaughtered in that conflict. And our hearts and our prayers go out to the families of the survivors.
And we fucking send our thoughts and prayers.
Just a dreadful situation. And again,
things were bad once.
And it's grateful that President Clinton has agreed to go down there.
Well, we're going to send our second string.
Thank you. I have two questions, one on Israel and another on China. At this point in the conflict, does President Biden believe that a military victory against Hamas is possible for Israel?
Obviously, that's going to be up to the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli government to determine. As I've said many, many times, it's difficult to eliminate an ideology with military means, but you can absolutely, through military means, decapitate their leadership, dry up their resources, eliminate their infrastructure, their ability to operate, store weapons, train troops. I mean, all of that stuff can be targeted with military means. But as I've also said, and you have to keep it in the context of this call, it matters how you do that. It really matters a lot how you do that. And it's the how that the president was focused on today.
Yeah, because nobody knows more about how to effectively use military force than the guy who killed aid workers in Afghanistan, who's done one thing: kill aid workers in Afghanistan. What a great job. Oh, and has killed like 1 million Ukrainians.
The way these operations are being prosecuted and the additional harm that's coming to
or at least
aid workers and innocent thousands.
What's the word? Enabled the deaths of millions, 1 million plus Ukrainians.
Unify Taiwan with mainland China. Did the Chinese leader bring up similar sentiment in their call the other day?
Officially 500,000, but we all know there's more.
I would certainly Taiwan came up in the context of the call. There's not a single discussion that we don't have with senior leaders in the PRC where we don't talk about Taiwan. Of course, it came up. I won't characterize President Xi's comments, but I can tell you that President Biden was very, very clear that nothing's changed.
I'm sure he was. He was very, very clear that as long as Xi keeps sending the checks, Biden will keep blundering up military operations.
About our one China policy, we don't support independence for Taiwan, but we also don't want to see the status quo changed in a unilateral way, and certainly not by force.
USDA to ensure that we are doing everything in our power to ensure we keep communities healthy, safe, and informed, ensure that our nation's food supply remains safe, and monitor any and all trends to mitigate risk and prevent the spread of avian flu. We are also in regular...
Oh yeah, bird flu. I forgot about that. There's bird flu. Bird flu went from a bird to a cow to a person in Texas. Bird flu has a roughly 50% kill rate.
Those relevant agencies and receiving daily updates because, again, we take that very seriously. And this is an issue when you think about the
My computer crashed.
Public experts,
Again.
health experts, and agencies have been preparing for this for decades, for 20 years now.
Right.
And so we have invested the ability to test, the ability to prevent, and to treat. And so as CDC said themselves, right now the risk to human health from this outbreak is low, but we want to keep it that way, which is why we set up this immediate response team. And so we're going to monitor, continue to monitor, and we're going to look for all relevant trends as it relates to the avian flu, and we want to make sure that we keep all Americans safe. Thank you for the question. I think it's important. Go ahead, MJ.
Karine, if Speaker Johnson were to put some form of Ukraine aid on the floor and a lawmaker, say a Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, then moves to oust him, would the White House, would the president support Democrats working to keep him as Speaker?
So we've always been very, very careful when it comes to leadership, and we have always said when it comes to picking the Speaker, picking the leader in the Senate, we want to let Congress deal with that. We want, in this case, it's something that House Republicans have to decide on. That's something that Leader Jeffries and his caucus have to decide on. We are not going to weigh in on that. We've been very consistent over the past 3 years, and we stand by that.
Any recent contact with the Speaker's office that you could read out?
I don't have anything to read out to you at this time. Obviously, our Office of Leg Affairs is in constant communication with congressional members on the Hill. And I do want to just say, and we've been pretty consistent about this, when it comes to the National Security Supplemental, that it
I don't know if it's A. I think it's A something. I think it's avian flu or whatever. I think it begins with an A. I'm not sure of that. This is a crossover, right? That's not good. Hopefully it's not contagious. But, I mean, a guy caught it from a cow that caught it from a bird, right?
Aid. We believe that there continues to be bipartisan support in Congress. The Speaker needs to put that on the floor. He needs to make sure that he gives.
But can a guy catch it from another guy? I don't know.
It would get overwhelming support. And we have to remember, there are lives at stake. They're alive at stake here in Ukraine. The brave people of Ukraine need the assistance from the U.S. to continue to fight for their democracy. That's what we've been able to do for more than 2 years. We've got to continue that. And because of congressional inaction, we have sadly seen Ukrainians losing ground in the battlefield. And so we believe, put it out on the floor. The Speaker needs to do that. Let congressional members vote on it. We think it'll
I'm looking it up.
Overwhelming support, 72-29 coming out of the Senate for that National Security Supplemental. It got to move. It has to move. Lives are at stake here. Okay.
Karine, was the president briefed yesterday, or did?
All right. Here we go. Oh, God, I grabbed the wrong one. Sorry. There we go. Bird flu confirmed in Texas. Worker who had contact with dairy cows. The person's infection comes just days after it was reported that dairy cattle in 5 states, including Texas, tested positive for the virus. A person in Texas has been diagnosed with a highly virulent strain of bird flu, the first such case since the virus was detected in a handful of dairy cattle in several states across the country. The Texas Department of State Health Services said in a statement Monday that the infected person worked on a dairy farm where some cows tested positive. Sid Miller, commissioner of the Texas Department of Agriculture, said it's not yet clear whether the person was infected by a dairy cow or through the same source that infected the dairy cows, which appears to be dead waterfowl that were found on the property. So it's not 100% confirmed that it went from bird to cow to person, right? But it has gone from bird to cow, right? And apparently there were dead ducks or something that on the property, okay? H5N1. Monday that the infection does not change the H5N1 bird flu human health risk assessment for the U.S. population, which the CDC considers to be low. So they're saying there's still a low probability of an outbreak, right? There have also been 4 cases of people infected with a less virulent strain of bird flu in the U.S. There have been, I don't know if that's related to this or just in general, okay? The first case was confirmed in 2022. Again, they iterate that there's a low risk of an outbreak, and that they don't expect it to even spread through cows, right? So, most likely it's a nothing burger. 28 days. Oh God, don't even do that.
Did he see the comments by...
Let's hope nothing happens.
He's aware. He's been...
These are the same experts that told us that we weren't going to get coronavirus in America either.
We put that in his statement. Obviously, we made sure that it was in his statement.
This is literally what they said when coronavirus broke out, too. Just saying.
With Chef Andres.
That it's no big deal.
He considers him a friend. He sees him as a hero. In everything that he has done, not just in Gaza, but across the globe, in feeding people who are in need, the humanitarian assistance that he provides. We have said the op-ed that he wrote is incredibly powerful. And that the first couple of words out of his statement yesterday was outrage and heartbroken. 7 people died. Outrage and heartbroken.
Was he concerned about the discrepancy?
Yeah, but 11 Marines or 13 Marines or whatever it was. That's not even worth fucking showing up for.
You know, between how Chef Andres described a deliberate attack on his workers versus what the White House and Israel have said in terms of describing that attack?
Look, there's an